Hello guys, welcome again to another YouTube video. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back to my channel. If you're a new viewer to my YouTube channel, remember to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you know when I make another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the various work visas you can get in Australia, how to apply, and some websites where you can find jobs to work in Australia. So there's actually quite a lot you need to know about applying for a visa to come work in Australia, and unpacking everything into one video might be a bit overwhelming and intimidating, so I'm going to be taking it one at a time, and I'll probably make more videos explaining the different types of work visas you can get in Australia. So before I get into the video, I want to remind you guys, I am not a legal agent, I am not an immigration lawyer. Everything on this video is based on my own personal research and my opinion. Please don't take this as legal advice. I repeat, I am not a legal advisor, I am not an immigration agent. So first of all, I'll talk about one of the type of work visas you can get in Australia, which is known as the work holiday visa. So this visa allows you to come into Australia to work while you're on a holiday in Australia. It's a fairly easy visa to apply for. It's almost comparable to the visiting visa or the tourist visa, but it's limited to people who hold certain passports. So mostly people from European countries or from North America are eligible for this type of visa. So if you're not in this category of people, if you're not from some countries in Europe or North America, then you wouldn't be able to apply for this visa. Then this brings us to the skilled shortage visa. So the temporary skills shortage visa is a visa where you can apply for in order to be able to come to work in Australia. First of all, the employer needs to be able to demonstrate to the Department of Home Affairs that they've already tried to find an Australian to work in this position. But because they couldn't find anyone, they have to find someone from abroad to come work in this position. So when they've demonstrated that, then they can go ahead to bring someone from outside the country to come work in this position. So there are different types of temporary skills shortage visa. There's the short-term stream and the long-term stream. So for the short-term stream, the visa allows employers to address labor shortages by bringing skilled workers where employers can't source an appropriately skilled Australian worker. But this work stream doesn't lead to permanent residence in Australia. For the long-term stream, if you do a certain type of occupation, then you'll be eligible to stay in Australia and possibly apply for permanent residence. It doesn't have to be a very big company, it doesn't have to be a giant firm, it can just be a tiny company as long as they're operating legally in Australia. And one important thing you need to remember is you need to first find an employer willing to sponsor you to come to Australia before you can apply for a work visa to study in Australia. So the most important thing is first finding a company that's willing to sponsor you to come work in Australia. For the short-term stream, it allows you to stay in Australia for up to 2 years, but it doesn't lead to permanent residence. There's no pathway that leads to permanent residence if you come in to work on the short-term stream. And for the medium to long-term stream, after working for up to 4 years, you are eligible to apply to become a permanent resident in Australia. So what separates people who are on the short-term stream and the long-term stream, you might ask? Well, it depends on the occupation that you've come into Australia to work in. So if you're coming to work in a certain occupation that's listed on the short-term stream, you wouldn't have the pathway to be able to work in Australia or to be able to live in Australia as a permanent resident. But if you can come into Australia on the medium to long-term stream, then you have a direct pathway leading you to permanent residence in Australia. I'm going to be leaving a link down below so you can read up and understand, because there are actually lots of occupations there. It could range from a cook to a carpenter. There's so many things in there. So you might ask, how can you find jobs in Australia? Well, there are different platforms you can use to find jobs in Australia. I'm going to be putting links down below that lead you to these websites where you can apply and upload your CVs in order to be able to find a job in Australia. Another thing you should remember is before you can apply for an Australian work visa, you have to be able to prove that you have worked full-time for 2 years minimum, for the minimum of 2 years, and you have certain qualifications in this certain occupation. You also need to meet the character requirements, meaning you have no substantial criminal record. You have to meet the health requirements as well. And of course, the cost of a work visa is not very cheap compared to other visas. For the short-term visa, you should be looking at paying around $1,290, and for the long-term visa, for the medium to long-term visa, you should be looking at 2,690 Australian dollars. I hope this video was useful to you guys. In the future, I'm going to be making more videos helping people to understand how the visa system in Australia works, because it's quite different compared to other countries. Remember to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. You can leave comments if you have questions about things that I didn't touch on in the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.